Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us. What's new? What's cracking? How you guys doing?
Mm. I don't think there's anything new on my end.
Gotcha. How has the Ignite been going for you?
Awesome.
What do you think of the instructors?
Awesome.
Okay, we have some other instructors popping in here and there. Did you guys do an Ignite with Adam at all? I think you might have missed. I think it was Good Friday last week, so I think Adam got the day off. But you guys did one with Tom Moore. How was that?
That was that was good. Yeah.
Did the bald guy birthmark on his head? All right.
I didn't notice that part.
Oh, gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha.
no, that was good.
Okay, yeah, he's got a lot of
Good
energy.
class.
He's an high eye like me. He likes to talk, so I'm sure you guys got an earful.
Lots of information on that class.
Gotcha, excellent. So what's probably like the one thing that so far in this class that's really stuck out to you?
You know what? I've got a lot of information coming at me, so it's kind of hard for me to pinpoint certain things. I think the one thing that's just continuously getting drilled into my head is lead generation.
Without that, we have nothing. So it all starts with lead generation.
Yes.
Gotcha. It's like anything else. Everybody's in the lead generation business. Every company. So Amazon's in lead generation, right? They're constantly hounding you online. That's all they're doing is generate leads. They give you you're on Facebook and all of a sudden Amazon stuff pops up. You click on something on accident and now you see it for the next 6 months. They are consistently hitting you up with some lead generation.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody have any good sales? Any sales so far?
I just got my first listing.
Oh, congratulations. Where's that?
It's in Costa Mesa.
Costa Mesa. Excellent. How'd that come about?
I actually got pretty lucky. Someone referred the client to my dad, who's a real estate attorney, and my dad referred him to me. So I got really lucky on that one, but it is what it is. It's learning.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That might be a lead generation source for you, is actually finding, real estate attorneys. And when they need something, they could turn to you for the real estate work. And you already have one real estate attorney on your in your Rolodex. Since I already work with this real estate attorney, I'm looking to work with 2 more.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good idea.
When does that one go live?
We're going live Wednesday.
Wednesday. Why Wednesday?
Well, we were gonna do Monday originally, and then Nick said it'd probably be a better idea to do Wednesday because then we'd be able to essentially have more people come in on the weekends and have the original offers from Wednesday be like I guess expiring at the same time as the new offers come in, so you can counter a little bit better instead of having people come in on Monday, put an offer there, and then have it expire Wednesday, and then stuff like that. So,
well, that's some great advice. I the reason I was asking, I only list properties on Wednesdays.
Oh, really?
For the same reason, right? You give it a day or two for it to acclimate throughout the world, for it to pop up on different web searches, and then it allows the aggressive agents who send offers immediately. It's like, well, you know what? The sellers aren't reviewing offers till Monday, so it actually gives you an opportunity for a weekend to advertise and market that property as well, for you to pick up some more business before you have to accept an offer. And it gives an opportunity for more buyers to see the property throughout the weekend when their availability is better than just Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. You put a house on the market on Monday, you're going to have an offer on, by the end of Tuesday. And
yeah,
you don't want to miss out on a really great offer over the weekend that they just couldn't see it over the weekend. So Wednesdays are really great days. You can list them whenever you want, but I also list properties on Wednesday. So that's some good advice from Nick.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy too, because I put it on the MLS as coming soon on this Wednesday, and then yesterday, like as soon as 8 a.m. hit, my phone started ringing, and I told people that we weren't doing showings till next Wednesday, and there's a couple people that said, well, we'll just submit like an all cash offer sight unseen. I'm like, okay, you know where my email's at. Like, I haven't received the offer yet, but that's what they said, and I just thought that was crazy. It's just this market is crazy right now.
It is a little crazy, yeah. Yeah, so you got to make sure you do get a lot of offers. You got to make sure you I'm not sure if you went through that Ignite class on presenting offers, but making sure you present all of those offers in their entirety to the seller.
Yeah.
Do your due diligence doing that as well. So you guys went through the presenting offers class?
I don't recall it, but maybe it's coming up.
Oh yeah, it's on it's 2 more classes from, or actually it's the next class. Making and receiving offers is on Tuesday.
Okay. Perfect timing.
And then negotiating the deal. So those will be 2 great ones. How's the participation been in the last couple classes? You guys have more agents coming on, less agents coming on?
It looks like less.
Less and less. That happens periodically. So if you guys happen to miss a class, don't worry, just plug right back into the next one. And this Ignite class is something that continually rolls. So when this Ignite class ends, a few weeks later, it will actually start up again. So it's great to go back and take it multiple times until you master your craft. Similar to reading the MREA book. You read it at least once or twice a year. I would suggest maybe reading it every quarter. As your business starts to grow and progress, it will mean different things to you at different times. So you will get more and more from it. So from this class, there's a lot in Ignite. You're not going to get all of it at all. I would suggest on picking the few things that you're going to do, put it on your calendar and make those happen, and then move on to the next thing. So this is a big overview of how to run your business. And I would take it again and again. I'd probably take Ignite 3 or 4 times and just ask better questions because you're in a better place, and then really refine your processes and systems to make the best customer experience for your customers possible. So it is 10:07, so we're just going to hop right in and get started. So thanks for joining us. If you guys don't know who I am, I'm Rob Ross. I'm the CEO and team leader here at Keller Williams La Mirada. It's one of the sister companies of Cerritos and Long Beach. Our big sister over there, Long Beach, pretty awesome. And my job is helping agents grow their business. Just like Nick and the other team leaders out there, our job is not only to give you enough information for you to make the best decision on which brokerage to join, but to partner with us and actually growing your business as well. So we are consistently here to help you with everything. It's kind of awesome. That's why I came to Keller Williams. So it's a great place. So today we are going to be going over, well, let me share my screen here. Share my desktop. You guys have the printout for today?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. And slideshow. And play. There it is. We're going to be going over buyer's consultations. Has everyone had a buyer's consultation yet? Excuse me one sec. I got 5 screens open. There we go. So let's see. Okay, cool. So we're going to be going over buyer's consultations. Buyer's consultations is really awesome because it's like setting the stage for your entire transaction. So it's kind of like going on that first date. There's specific things that need to happen to set the stage for everything else that is going to happen. So if you haven't gone through a buyer's consultation yet, this is a great opportunity to take some notes and actually build your customer experience and how you want your buyer's consultation to go. So we're actually going to go through a couple steps here to start building one, and then you could actually customize it from there on out. And so we'll start off what successful agents do every day. We go through this in every Ignite. We grow your business and we run a business. And today we're actually going to be making buyers presentations and get listings. We're going to be listing buyers. So you list sellers, like you just took a listing for a seller. We actually take listings for buyers too. So the things that we track when we're tracking our numbers is how many hours of lead generation, how many contacts we make, how many appointments we go on, whether it be buyer or seller appointments, and then how many contracts we take, which is listing contracts and buyers contracts, and then how many closings. And then the last thing we track is our GCI, our gross commissions income. So all that makes sense. And we're going to be going over quite a bit of that today. So right off the bat, we're going to be talking about setting appointments. So what are your goals of the buyer's consultation appointment? What are the goals? Do you know what your goals are for the buyer's consultation, what we want to get out of it?
Getting that signature on the buyer representation agreement.
Yeah, at the very end, getting a signature is always what we're aiming for. So there's some step in between that we're going to be chatting about prior to setting up our consultation. So the consultation is your opportunity to establish like the long-term relationship with the buyer. So during your appointment, you have a couple goals. Number one, on your printout, I think it's on page 5, is to discover what the wants and needs of the buyer are and the values of the buyer. What exactly is your buyer looking for? What do they want? So what we want, what we need are two different things, right? So there's certain things that they want and there's certain things that they need. So for example, like you got 4 kids, I definitely need a 3-bedroom house for sure. It has to be 3 bedrooms. I'd want a 4 or 5 bedroom, but I definitely need a 3-bedroom. And then what are the values to the buyer? What values are we trying to, what information are we looking to get from them so that we could better serve them? And we're going to do that during this discovery phase, which is step number 1, finding out why they want to buy, where they want to buy, what's important to them. And then it helps us find what's important to them. So number 2 is deliver your value proposition and set the expectations on how to work with the buyer and find them their dream home. So we teach people how to treat us. It's a bold law for those who haven't taken bold. You teach people how to treat you. You do that in your personal life. You do it in your professional life as well. When it comes to working with buyers and working with sellers during this consultation, you want to deliver your value proposition. And we went over your unique value proposition a couple of classes ago. What is that value that you're bringing to the table? And then what are your expectations throughout the transaction and with that actual customer? And number 3, you're going to close for a signature. And the signature is a buyer representation agreement. Has everyone actually seen what a buyer's rep agreement looks like? Have you all read one already?
Yes.
Okay, cool. What's really great about the buyer rep agreement, not only it says that they're planning on working, excuse me, directly with you, it kind of gives a breakdown of what the brokerage, which is you, do's and don'ts are, what you are responsible for and what you're not responsible for. Sometimes buyers think we're responsible for specific things that we're not. And by having clarity around that is actually going to bring simplicity to the transaction. So for example, like for a buyer, I don't go check permits for buyers at the city, right? The buyer needs to check their own permits. I could show them where to go, how to get them, who to contact, but I actually don't pull that information for them. It's not part of my job as the brokerage to go out and find that information for them. I could facilitate where to get it, but they get it themselves. So it'll break down in the agreement what our do's and don'ts are, what we're going to do and what we're not going to do. So it's extremely important that we have clear boundaries there as well. Like we don't select the price of the home either. Like that comes from the buyer. So it'll specifically say in there, I actually have, a copy of it in front of me. And it's really good to go through this and highlight certain sections that you want to identify to your customer. For example, like the scope of the broker's duties, what their duties are and what their duties aren't. So for example, like 6B says, the buyer acknowledges and agrees that the broker does not decide the price the buyer should pay or what the seller should accept. We don't guarantee the condition of the property, right? So there's a lot of things in there that are going to say what we do as a fiduciary, and then obviously what we don't do. And we want to draw a very clear line between the two for that buyer or for our customer. Last thing we want them to feel is you didn't do your job because they felt that you should have been doing X, Y, and Z, when clearly that's not what we signed up for. And that's the reason why we move forward with that buyer broker agreement, along with an agency relationship form as well. So, any questions on that? Nope. Excellent. Okay, so now, are you familiar with what an A buyer is?
Yes, they're ready, willing, and able.
There you go. They're ready, willing, and able to do the task of actually purchasing a home, right? Not just window shopping. So when I show buyers properties, I said, you know, we're not house shopping, we're house buying. You know, we're not going just to look at some shoes, we're going to buy some shoes, right? We're not going to look at homes, we're going to buy homes. So you're excited? We're actually going to go out and buy some homes today. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. It's like, whoa, I just want to look at homes. Like, no. We're going out to buy homes today. We're going to look at them to buy them. Their goal is to buy, not to look. So, you know, obviously an A buyer is someone who's ready, willing, and able to purchase a home today. They'll be under a contract within a matter of weeks. So there's a toolkit. Have you seen the buyer's lead sheet toolkit? You have a script book. Has everyone downloaded the script book or have a copy of the script book? If you haven't, I would suggest doing that. So is everyone familiar how to get the materials?
Through KW Connect.
Exactly. Go to KW Connect, go to resources, and then you'll go ahead and find the class for Ignite. There should be a toolkit down there. It's going to give you a bunch of PDF forms. It's going to give you some Word documents. You also have a script book. So we'll go through that script book in a little bit on some scripts and role playing on how to overcome maybe some of those buyers' objections to signing the buyer broker agreement, and so on and so forth. So let's take a look at our lead generation funnel here. Once you do find a able and ready buyer that becomes an A customer in setting that appointment, we want to make sure that we add them to our database in Command. Has everyone been doing some Command training on how to add a contact in Command and bring them through the opportunities? Has everyone seen that? Has anyone not seen it?
I've seen it, but I think I need a refresher.
Gotcha. Would you like to spend like 2 minutes and go through it real quick?
Sure.
All right, I'll pop it up on my computer here. Screen share. Share. Okay, awesome. So you can see my other screen here. Let's find Command. Command here, Command here. Here we go. So here's a picture of Command here. Can you all see that? So opportunities, if you click on the little KW, it's going to give you a breakdown of what they are. Click on the opportunities, which is the two shaking hands. This is where we manage our business, where we see how many customers we have coming through the pipeline. So this is your pipeline report. So you have certain sections of your pipeline. How's that? There we go. You have certain sections of your pipeline where you actually bring your customer through. So they might be watching them. They might be really hot. Like somebody says they're looking to buy. Okay, they're hot, but they're not. We haven't had a consultation with them. We haven't set an appointment. As soon as we do set an appointment, we actually just grab our contact and we drop them in appointments. Come on, drop in there. Oop, there we go. So now over in appointments, I have this buyer right here. So I scheduled an appointment. As soon as I scheduled one, or maybe I kept the appointment, and I went on that appointment with that buyer, and then that buyer's ready to purchase. They become an active A buyer looking to buy some property. And then they would go from the appointment status, they'd come over here to active. Now I have this active buyer here. We're actually looking for homes. So we're searching for homes. As soon as I set some showings, we actually start looking at homes. I put them over here and showing homes. as soon as we write some offers, we're actually going to be in negotiations, right? As soon as an offer gets accepted, we're just going to take our buyer here and drop them over in active. Or actually, we're already in active. They're going to be under contract. So we're actually just moving them through our pipeline. So when we go back to opportunities, we'll see how many people we have under contract, how many people are actively looking for homes, and how many appointments we have set. So if they're not ready, you know, from appointments, I put them back to cultivate. So say, for example, this buyer here, they're not ready or they're not qualified, I would just put them back over into cultivate. And in cultivate, you know, they're 6 months out. So I'll put them in the 6-month mark and reach back out, put them on a smart plan for touching them once a month until they're ready to buy. So if you haven't went through any command training, there's some really great ones at command101.teachable. So command101.teachable. It's a free class. It's called Command 101. I actually walk you through a bunch of videos by Nick Baldwin showing you how to utilize command at a high level. And as soon as you're done with that training, a whole series of videos. There's actually a second set of videos that are a little more in depth, a little more advanced. And you could also take some one-on-one training in the market centers, hands-on on some workshops on getting some of this, some command training done as well, which I would highly suggest. Command is something we use on a daily basis to run our entire business. And when it comes to the buyer's consultation, we'll go over command in a little bit. Well, we might as well just go over it right now. So since we're in command, if you come over to designs, this is where you're gonna, excuse me, where you're going to find your buyer's consultation guide. Go to designs, click on it. You want to go and add a new design over here in the corner, hit the plus button. It's going to be a print. Next. Click on buyer, buyer's presentation right here. So you click on the buyer's presentation. Now here's a bunch of buyer presentations that you could use as a template to create your own. And we're going to go through today, what are some of the things you're going to put in that presentation to make yourself stand out. And then you would use that as your guide. And then there's also a mobile app version or a mobile app buyers and sellers guide on your mobile app. Has everyone downloaded their Keller Williams mobile app?
Yes.
Everybody says yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So in that mobile app, have you went to the buyers and sellers guide on there? If you haven't, it's okay. So the buyers and seller guide is actually in command as well. And that's where you get to design how you want that laid out. So if you come over here to command and go to consumer, you want to go to guide builder, which is right here. You have your buying and your selling guide. So if I clicked on buying guide, this is what my app looks like. Right? You could add steps, you could take steps out, you could put a picture of you in here. So if you were to click on this, you could actually edit over here in the corner. The picture, what you want to say, what you're all about. So right now it says start your search. Is that the first thing we do when we work with the buyers is start a search? Or do we get them pre-approved? So we do
I
usually
prefer to get them pre-approved.
Yeah, no, of course. And I agree with you 110%. So in our guide here, on my guide, right now as an example, this should actually be first. So get pre-approved. Before getting pre-approved, I would probably actually set the buyer's consultation. So I would add a step and, consultation. I'm typing on the wrong computer. That's consolation. There we go.
Are there pre-made titles that you can search for and have details already, or do you have to enter in all the details and the steps on any of these new ones you add, new step?
If you add a new step, you're adding in your own information.
Perfect, thank you.
Gotcha. So you could, like, for example, I would suggest like adding a step at the bottom and maybe calling it preferred vendors. And then when someone asks you, hey, do you have a painter? I say, actually, I do. here, download my mobile app real quick. Go to either the buyer or seller guide at the very bottom of the page. It'll say preferred vendors on there, and my painter's in there. So is my plumber and electrician, has their name, email address, phone number, maybe license number. And you can add as many steps or have as least as many steps as you want. So there's one agent I know who, during his consultation, he actually takes his clients out to lunch or dinner. That's his thing. So before he even works with you as a seller or a buyer, he wants to get to know you a little bit. He does that over lunch. So it's like, hey, let's go to lunch. And this is his thing. So in his app here, it would be like, hey, we go and break bread together. We go and eat lunch together during our consultation. I want to find a little bit more about you. You can learn a little bit more about me. And then we'll set up a formal appointment to get pre-qualified. That's the way he runs his business. So what's really great about Command is you have a really great template and you can change it and create whatever you want. So it's 100% customizable and branded to you, not just some generic app out there. It's actually tailored toward you. And the way you do that is through Command here. So that's kind of that. Let me go ahead and hop on another computer here and share a new screen so we can get back on track. Perfect. Okay. So any questions about that on the Command portion? And I'll take that as a no. So next step is, whoops, here we go. So setting the appointment. So the goal of a buyer's consultation appointment is to get a signed buyer agreement. That's the reason why we're having a consultation. So setting the tone for closing the buyer agreement begins with the invitation to meet the buyer for the consultation. So to do that, there's a lot of scripts involved in setting that up. Has everyone went over the script book or has downloaded the script book or printed it out and practiced some of the buyer's presentation scripting?
I did 1, 2, and not 3. None of the practice yet.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I would always suggest practicing it. You know, obviously scripts and role play is going to help you craft your skill a little bit better, especially when you're putting your own personality into it. So I would suggest reading it word for word. And then once you get the verbatim down, then you could maybe change a few words to match your tonality or match your personality. So there's in your script book on page 16, there's scripts going for closing the agreement for the exclusive agreement, and actually walking through the benefits of the pre-approval and setting the buyer's appointment. How's everybody doing on the scripts and role play? I know it's a big challenge for a lot of people.
Would you be able to let me know where to get the script book again, please?
Gotcha. Yeah. So if you went to KW Connect and then you scroll over the top of resources, see if I have it on my screen here. See if I download this PowerPoint. I think everybody still sees my screen here. It's Command. Nope. There we go. Here's KW Connect. So if you came to KW Connect and you went to resources, and then you went to KWU, which is Keller Williams University, you're going to come to this page here. And we're in Ignite 2.0. From Ignite 2.0, you're going to go to materials. And you have all the student materials here, and you have all the instructor materials here. They give you access to all of them. I mean, you could see what, some of the notes you have for instructors here, but if you came over to Ignite Toolkit, and we open that up, which I believe my computer's downloading. It's a little slow. Come on. Ignite Toolkit. There we go. So inside that Ignite Toolkit has all these documents. So resource job aid, open house sign-in sheet, daily 10-4, right here, Ignite Elements script book. So you could download this entire file to your computer, and then you have everything in Ignite that you need, including the script book. And you could, obviously open it, you could print it. So I would definitely suggest doing that. There's a lot of great materials in there. How's that look? Everybody got that?
Thank you.
No worries. You got it. Thank you for asking. And boom. We're back. Okay. And next step. So we're going to prepare for the buyer's presentation, right? So in the consultation, your presentation is a big one. So I showed you how to actually create that presentation in Command. It's actually a really awesome template. And we're going to go through what that looks like here. So there's two different versions of the buyer's presentation in Command. There's fully customizable to match your value proposition. And there's a tool guide for that as well. So during this model, we're going to discuss the purpose of each one of them. But we don't have to go over every individual page. You can just edit them in designs. So after this class, I would highly suggest, if you don't have a buyer's presentation, to go to Command, go to the template, and start messing around with it, and then just save your work if you don't have time to finish it today. That way you have it completely done. And if it's something you're having a challenge on and want to do maybe a workshop on it, I'd probably do an in-office workshop on building that presentation in Command as well. Or checking out some of the YouTube videos to kind of walk you through some of it. But definitely, if you're having a challenge, let us know. We want to be able to help provide you what you need to make sure that happens. Because without it, you're obviously not getting any contracts without your presentation. So right off the bat, there's a table of contents, and all this stuff is editable. So this is a version of one in Command. So you're able to customize that. So each section of the buyer's presentation here is going to help you connect with the buyer and build your confidence in your value proposition. So you can make, like I said, you can make changes, adding, deleting different sections if you like. So what resources do you have to help prepare the buyer presentation? Okay, I'll help you out here. So you have like your buyer lead sheet, you have stuff from the MLS, you have market center data for your market center. If you don't have stats and numbers of your own, you want to go ahead and use the market center's data as well. So I use market center data all the time. I was just talking to an investor who is actually a buyer, owns a house, looking to buy some more properties, called me last night at my house. And, I said, hey, look, we did 635 transactions last year. So I'm very familiar with actually going through transactions. So I can help you find the right home, or actually at least guide you through the process. Whether you buy one or not, I'm the resource that you need. And he was like, oh, wow, that's a lot. Well, look, I didn't do 635, obviously my office did 635. So out of those, 418 of those were buyers. So we helped 418 buyers buy homes last year. And I oversee that. I wasn't even here last year. So those numbers work in my favor. So if you don't have numbers of your own, use some of the office numbers, but knowing what they are is kind of half the battle. Usually they don't ask after that. So your participation guide consists of example pages from the buyer's presentation of the modern template. So there's a couple different templates you could use. This one's more of a modern one. It's more of like a black, but there's other different versions in there as well that you could play with. The next section looks like their dream home. So this is where we're going through finding out what their needs are, right? So we want to talk about what they're looking for in their property and why they're looking for it. So there's two different selling functions when you're working with buyers and sellers. There's benefits, And there is features and benefits. Do you guys know the difference between features and benefits?
Features are things like a pool, and benefits are what is great about having a big backyard.
Oh man, you're absolutely right. So features is an item, right? But the benefit is actually more of a feeling. And we do know that logic makes you think, but emotions make you act. Logic makes you think, only emotions make you act. So think about the time when you selected your spouse, right? Were you thinking logically about that or emotionally? Most people, right, are thinking emotionally. This person is amazing, they're funny, they're attractive, whatever attracts you to that person. Same thing with your property. People act on emotion, they necessarily don't act on logic. Now, if you could put both of them together, you know, like these are amazing shoes, you know, they're a really great value. They're actually half off right now. Okay, great. Well, logically, like I'm saving half of my money. But the benefit is like these are probably the most comfortable shoes you'll ever wear. Most people say they could stand on these shoes for 20 hours a day without hurting their back. It's really supporting. And then when you put them on, you'll feel the comfort of that. So they're selling comfort. So it's like, my feet are hurting me and so does my back. So buying these shoes obviously are going to make me feel good. You could actually charge me more, right? Because I'm looking for that feeling. Same thing with the benefits and features of their home. So the consultation where you're finding out what their needs are in the discovery phase is extremely important because you are going to be looking for that. So I'm looking for a big kitchen. That's a feature. Okay, great. Why are big kitchens important to you? Well, you know, at Christmas time, my whole entire family gets together, my nieces, my nephews, my grandma, and we make our family homemade tamales. And that's something we've been doing for generations. Wow, that's pretty amazing. So you actually do need a pretty big kitchen. So now when I find them a big kitchen, it's not like, boom, here's a big kitchen. The question is, can you imagine your grandma and your family for the next 3 generations, like making tamales in this kitchen? Oh, wow, that'd be pretty amazing. Like that feels good. That feeling is what gets them to act on writing that offer. It's not about the benefits. It's not about the features, it's the benefits. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Awesome, awesome. So based on the page that we're looking at now, you know, because you can customize this, you know, how can I make that happen for you? Why is that important to you? If we could just add one more thing to make the process even better, what would it be? So you're going to go through the process with them and ask them some more questions during the discovery phase here. What kind of questions do you want to add in there? Or what would you change on this image here to make it more appealing for you or your customers? Nothing? This page is awesome? So like I said before, this page here, what you want it to do is you want it to uncover, right? This is the discovery phase. We want to uncover the buyer's values and motivations for their move. You know, what's the one thing that has to happen to make this dream home a reality for you? It's like, oh, it's got to have a pool. I've never had a house with a pool. My kids are young. I just went through this scenario a couple years ago where I never had a house with a pool before. And my wife out of nowhere just said, hey, we're moving and I'm going to find us a home. I said, well, babe, I do this for a living. And she goes, yeah, I know. What's your MLS login again? And she found us a home, which was really interesting. So, but all based on emotion, right? So she found exactly what she was looking for. And then I just had to end up paying for it, which was awesome. And I love my home. It's pretty sweet. So discovery phase. Any questions on that? Okay, great. So now you're going to build your profile here. So, you know, your participation guide, I think you have a couple pages in there if you guys are following along with that. What information you need to collect on your profile here? So obviously you're going to need your name, email, when's the best time for them to reach you? And then how often do they want updates on things that are going on? So again, this is all customizable. You could change pretty much anything on this page. This is where you're going to set some expectations. So building a preference profile is about uncovering expectations and preferences for communication and the timeline for the buyer. Like when are they available to see homes, right? So if I had someone ask me like, well, I'm only available on Saturday and Sunday. So if you're saying I had the most perfect home that came up on a Monday and we know it was going to be gone by Wednesday, you wouldn't want to look at it? No, I definitely would like to see that. Okay, great. So if there was an opportunity to see a home on a Monday or a Tuesday or a Wednesday, what time would you have available to actually see that home? Because right now we're not going to be shopping homes for 6 months. You're going to have to be a little bit inconvenienced from the beginning to get you what you really want. Are you okay with that? And usually they would say yes. Okay, great. Well, what time, on a Monday or Tuesday would you be available? It's like, okay, great. Well, I get off work at 4. I could probably do between 4 and 6 and maybe miss out on cooking dinner, or we'll order pizza that night or something. So getting their commitment on setting the expectations on when they're able to see properties, and then how you want to communicate with them as well. Communication's super, super important. Are they phone call people? Are they text people? Are they email people? Typically when something's extremely important, the phone call is the way to go. Although nowadays, with people being, doing 10 things at once, text messages is probably just as important. So during this process as well, you should be taking notes, like right up front through the entire process. Right up front, I ask them if it's okay if I take notes, and they say yeah, because I'm getting more information about them. So taking notes not only captures the information about you, but it also demonstrates to the buyers what they're saying is really important to you. So when I'm working with agents, I'm always taking notes as well. Because what they say, I want to take a note of it and I want to reflect on it later so I can better assist them in their career. We want to do the same thing with the buyer. So take notes, write down, kind of what the buyers are saying. And that way you could actually add that information into command under their contact in the notes section, so that you always have information on hand when you're talking to them. So I would take those notes, I'd put them in their profile, on command under notes, and I would write a bunch of notes about exactly what they're looking for. So if you're working with multiple buyers, you don't get the information mixed up. And if you're building a team or working on a team, then whoever takes over that customer has all the notes as well, so you don't miss a beat in your customer service. So I've been talking quite a bit. Let's pause for a second and open up to any questions that you have so far on the process here. What do you got for me? Don't be shy. Nothing so far? We're good? All right. Let's go to the next step. So now we're finding out what their wish list is. So the use of the wish list section is to ask buyers about their ideal home and customize these questions based on your market, and the information you have already obtained from the buyer's lead sheet. So when you're pre-qualifying them prior to them meeting for their appointment, you ask them a couple questions. So you might be able to change this analysis based on what they're looking for already. So it's a foundation of your needs analysis. So use this as a foundation and then capture an exact or precise picture of what the buyers are looking for in their new home, so that when you find it, you can connect with them on the level that they want to be connected on with, and building that vision for their home. So you don't want to end up being an Uber agent, and an Uber agent is someone that just drives somebody around and shows them properties. You're actually called the selling agent, which is the buyer's agent, because your job is to sell them that home based on the information that you acquire through the consultation. Get all the information you can, so then you could sell that back to them when you find them the right home that meets their needs. So there's a couple questions. Let me find out where they are real quick. So there's some questions here on the sheet that we can go through. Obviously, to begin, who's going to be living in their home, understanding their children and their pets and their space. What are some non-negotiables for your home? Now, does anybody can spit out a couple non-negotiables that they worked with some buyers on that that they definitely don't want in their home or in their neighborhood?
Mine had nosy neighbors. They wanted nothing to do with them, which is
So
funny.
somebody's looking for a house that has no nosy neighbors.
Yeah, I'm like, you can't really tell whether you're gonna find that or not. I mean, especially when you're looking at a house right now, you can't guarantee it. But I mean, I guess what we do is we just stand outside for a little bit when we're talking about the house, and they keep an eye out of like who's around and how many people are staring at them while they're talking.
Because they're looking out the blinds. So some non-negotiables that I've run into is I do not want a pool. Right? No homes with pools, or it has to have a 2-car garage. Like 1-car garages or no garage is no good. Or an alley. Some people don't like houses that have an alley in the back, or maybe on a busy street, on a main drag. Right? So we're going to get those out of the way. What are the non-negotiables right up front that if you saw it, you wouldn't even stop or consider it, because you don't want to waste your time, and you definitely don't want to waste their time. And there's some things that they don't like, and some things that are non-negotiable. So the non-negotiable, if they were to say, on a busy street, it's like, well, okay, great. What exactly do you mean by busy street? You're talking about Beach Boulevard, or you're talking about like the street is a pass-through street in a neighborhood that doesn't have any turns? Be very specific, because you want to make sure that you don't pass up on a home that they would have probably bought, and then really make sure it's a non-negotiable. And if you had to name your top 5, obviously, what would they be? And you'd write those down. Besides that, what exactly are they looking for? So some people have a preference on when the home was built. I need something built after the year 2000, right? That's a great question as well. Some people don't really care. Knowing homes, a lot of things in homes break down over the years. So if they have, for example, cast iron plumbing from like 1950, it probably has a shelf life of so many years. 70 years later, somebody's moving into that same plumbing. That's something that they might be interested in not doing. So do they want a house that's moving condition, or are they okay with having something that needs a little bit of upgrading or a little bit of work? So some of the homes that we get the best deals on are ones that need new carpet and paint. You'd be surprised what carpet and paint does to a house, or just changing the flooring and the paint to change the entire look of the house. Maybe if that house isn't completely rehabbed, that's something that we could do on our own. That's very inexpensive. And we don't want to not show them that home if that's okay with them. So some people say they want move-in ready. Well, if I could find you a home that we could have move-in ready within a week, is that something that you would still be interested in? So I wouldn't be looking for homes that are completely rehabbed, maybe ones that are in very good condition. I call them B+ houses instead of A+ houses. And then I could probably have my crew come in and change the flooring in 1 day and paint the house maybe in 1 or 2 days over the weekend while you're moving in. I probably have that whole entire thing done. Would that be okay with you? Right? So I'd be able to find them more homes and be very clear on their expectations on that as well. Exactly what they're looking for. And then ask them, like, when people visit your home, what do you want them to say about you? And that sounds a little odd, but your home is an extension of yourself. Like, what you put inside of your home. Do they want it to feel cozy, warm, welcoming, contemporary? They want it to feel sleek. Like what? And then based on those reactions, you're able to find different types of architecture, different types of homes that meet their criteria. Like open floor plan, where it's just one giant great room with the kitchen, the dining room, the living room. Some people really like that. Some people don't like that at all. So there's not a lot of inventory on the market now. But what we want to do is we're probably showing every home that comes up on the market, correct? There's not a lot. So we're showing all of them. If there was a plethora of homes on the market, would you show all of them? I would not. I would show the ones that best fit the criteria for what they're looking for. So instead of looking at 1 in 100, we're looking to write 3 offers on every 5 homes we see, because I already did the hard work found out what you're looking for, and then I paired you up with the right house in the right neighborhood. So they don't know the homes and they don't know the neighborhoods you do, right? So your job is to find them that. So what about neighborhood preferences? Do some people get neighborhood preferences? Specific neighborhoods with trees? Yeah, no, maybe so.
I have, especially like neighborhood / great schools.
Gotcha, great schools. And I think on your Keller Williams app and on the website, they're able to search by schools. So your app is really great. It's actually made by Google. So Google beta tested all of our software, and they tested it in-house. So their employees used our apps and our websites prior to letting us use them. So they did that for a long time. They wanted to make sure that the customers were satisfied with actually using them. Sometimes we think like realtors instead of thinking like customers. So you're able to take your mobile app and just circle a location. Like I could type in Dodger Stadium and it'll give me all the homes around Dodger Stadium, anywhere in the United States. So you could just pick a location, you could pick a cross street, you could pick all sorts of things. It's pretty sweet. So, and I believe you could pick school districts. I'll have to mess with it. But if I put in specific school districts like Sunny Hills, it should be able to give me all the houses around Sunny Hills. So schools are extremely important. I agree with you. I moved to my neighborhood for the school districts as well. Well, I didn't. My wife dragged me to a neighborhood that has amazing school districts or amazing public schools for the kids, since I have a gaggle of them. Boom. Let's look at this next one here. There we go. So has everyone used Neighborhood Insights in Command? I'm guessing not, maybe. So Neighborhood Snapshots is the next door neighborhood data. We use the mapping tool for that. So Keller Williams has the ability to take all the hyperlocal neighborhoods for next door for the entire United States, and I think Mexico and Canada as well, to really dial down into a hyperlocal neighborhood. So for example, the example here, Barton Hills is a very hyper-local neighborhood that has very specific homes in that compared to the ones outside of that neighborhood. So sometimes I have customers looking for a very specific neighborhood that goes to a specific school district, or they want to live in that neighborhood. And we're able to break that down on their mobile app and on the website to be able to find them homes just in that neighborhood. So we can advertise to them just in those specific neighborhoods compared to seeing all of Fullerton. They can see just like one neighborhood, or all of Long Beach in just one specific neighborhood in Long Beach. So it's really easy to create neighborhood snapshots inside of Command in Designs. I don't think we have the ability to go over that today, but there's definitely, when you go to Command 101.teachable, I'll be able to walk you through how to use those. It's pretty sweet. You can create flyers and door hangers and all sorts of stuff in Command on Designs to be able to capture that information as well. Fun tool. Now we're actually going to go through the process of the home buying process for your buyers. So one thing they're looking for is sometimes they've never bought before. They don't know what to expect. So we're going to walk them through the entire process on how that works. And obviously, number one is partnering with an agent, and it kind of gives a little bit about why you want to partner with that agent. And then number two is getting them pre-approved for a loan. So unless they have all cash, and I usually ask them like, hey, do you guys have all cash? And they say no. Okay, great. No problem. We'll get you a loan. Getting a loan is almost as good as all cash because you're still buying it, all cash, and you're just paying the bank back. So getting a great pre-approval. And then number three, finding your home and then walking them through that process. What does that look like? I comb through all the homes. I send them the best, 5 or 6 homes, and we actually go and look at them. And then we write offers on all of those homes. And then I negotiate those offers and those terms in step number 4. And then we close and give them the keys. So we can make it very simple, or you could add 10 more steps to this. It's completely up to you how many steps you want to go ahead and put in there, but this is very self-explanatory on walking them through the process and how that works. I actually go another step further, and I actually have a timeline that I put in place that I don't have in front of me, but I walk them through the entire home buying process kind of visually, because I'm kind of a visual learner. So I want to walk them through a flow chart on what that looks like. This is, 4 steps in a flow chart. I have a couple more steps involved, right? Like doing inspections and what happens during escrow. And then also a timeline. So I know during the contracts, when you get to a contract, there's a lot of timelines involved there too. I like to visually show the buyer what that timeline looks like so that they know what to expect when we do write offers and we do open escrow. So they're not getting surprised every step of the way. We prep them in advance through this process, and then we make the process smooth for them because we just do what we said we were going to do from the beginning. Is there something that you might add to this slide that you are planning on doing or talking about with your buyers when it comes to the process of home buying that's probably not on here, or something you would change? Nope. No. Okay. Well,
I think I would add the importance of proof of funds, because nowadays, even with the pre-approval letter, like the proof of funds is also something all agents are looking for in an offer.
Gotcha. That's a really great suggestion. So proof of funds is huge, right? And as a listing agent, I look for proof of funds as well. So in today's market, understanding why that's important and explaining that is extremely important as well. So as a listing agent, I'm looking at 5 offers that I just got on one of my listings. And if right now we're in a hot seller's market, so they most likely are paying above appraised value. The only way they can pay above appraised value is if they got some money in the bank. They have proof of funds. They're putting 15% down, maybe that's $50,000, and they have $100,000 in the bank. To me, that says they could probably pay $20,000, $30,000 above appraised value because they have the money to do so. To me, that makes them a stronger buyer than somebody who's putting all their money on the line or putting less money down because they don't have any money. And they're getting a loan, so they'll still close. But to get my seller the most money, I want to get somebody who has some money in the bank as well. And having that proof of funds is extremely important to make sure that they at least have the money for the down payment and the closing costs. So it's a very great suggestion. What else? Is there anything else that you might put in there? So in partnering with an agent, step number 1 here, I really push hiring an agent who has really great relationships with other agents. So especially in the market like now, relationships with other agents really matter. So for example, this week, I had 2 different agents from 2 different Keller Williams offices write an offer on my one of my listings. We reviewed those, and I know both of those agents personally. So when we're reviewing offers with the seller, okay, here's 10 offers. Let me tell you a little bit about these. I actually have relationships with a couple of these people that wrote offers with us, professional relationships. I've known them for years. And what I do know about them is that they don't show buyers properties that they don't qualify for, that they're not willing to close on. So when I'm explaining that to the seller's choosing which offer would best fit them. And now they know that there's a couple that I have relationships with that most likely are going to get their offer accepted more because I know that they actually close. So having a relationship with other agents is really important. So I sell the fact that I have relationships with thousands of agents. They know who I am. I know who they are. I know how they work. I know where they work, and I've known them for years. I would rather do business with them. So when I write an offer for a buyer, I make it a point to make sure I make great relationships with every listing agent out there, especially the ones that are selling multiple listings. Because if I don't get my offer accepted this time, I will on another one. So having a relationship with other agents is extremely important to me. And I think it's important to my customers as well. So I sell the fact that when they work with me, I have years of relationships with agents that will help them get their offer accepted just based on relationships alone because they already know, like, and trust me. So I would add that to mine. You don't have to add it to yours, but I would add it to mine. I think it's a great value sell for sellers and for buyers. Anything else you think you might put in there or take out of there? All right, all right. Next, this is affiliated business arrangement disclosure. This is in command because we have a relationship with Keller Mortgage. You know, Keller Williams owns Keller Mortgage. If you're not using Keller Mortgage at this moment, I probably wouldn't, add this in there. And now it comes time to your value proposition. So we went through getting all the information from the buyer in the discovery phase, and now it's time to deliver who you are, what you're about, and why they should work with you. And this is a great page to use Keller Williams as a platform, which I use all the time. Why would you list with a company? Why don't you list with the biggest, largest, greatest company that sells more transactions, has more market share? We got about 11% market share in the United States. So that is huge, like double or triple any other company that even comes compared to us. I use that as a value proposition to hire me because I'm backed by the largest company in the world when it comes to real estate and real estate services. But there's specific numbers you can put in here. This young lady here she's been in business for 15 years. She's served 268 clients in her entire career. She has 23% repeat customers, which means her customer service is, really great. She gets great referrals. And then how many she served just in 1 year. Your numbers could be whatever they are. You could use market center numbers. You could use regional numbers. You could use forward living numbers. A lot of different numbers that you could use to boost yourself up and talk a little bit about yourself. Sometimes agents that don't have a lot of years of experience use other years of experience to their benefit. For example, on I think the last time I was on Ignite, there was a gentleman on here that had years and years and years of customer service experience in a different field. Extremely important. They're master negotiators in a different field. So I would put been negotiating contracts for 30 years, right? Not necessarily real estate contracts, but contracts. I know how to negotiate contracts. So I would definitely put what your credentials are on here to show your value and your unique value proposition as well. So what's one thing that you got going for you that you would probably put on here?
I was in the customer service industry for like 12 years. So I know how to listen to their concerns and weed out how I can really assess or assist them.
Okay, that's definitely something I'd put in there. What else? What about what schooling you have, your education? So this example here under credentials shows that they went to the University of Springfield. I've worked with some new agents that actually graduated from USC. Now USC has like an amazing alumni program. And I spoke with this young lady. I said, I would probably put that on your business card. I would probably put the USC alumni logo on your business card. And she did. And she gets a lot more business now than she did in the past. It brings a level of professionalism and accomplishments without actually having to ever sell real estate before. So that's part of her value proposition is like, I'm a USC grad and, in business, and that goes a long way. So if I graduate from USC, I would be putting that on my card. I'd probably tattoo it on my forehead, but I didn't. So I don't have it on my card. So, and then maybe putting some accomplishments for the company, during your value proposition, maybe some of the things to do, maybe charity events that you belong to or organizations that you belong to as well. So they get to know you and your value. So if you belong to a big charity organization, you're big with Meals on Wheels or Ronald McDonald House or, something like that, I would probably put on here a little bit about you that shows that you have a value that they might be looking for. Does that make sense?
Do we have a place either on like KWPE Rocks or anything that gives our the stats of each of the market centers so we can put on these, or do we need to just ask someone?
I don't think it's on your kwpe.rocks. That's your Long Beach website. I don't think they have active rolling numbers on there. We do have what we call a multi-trend report that comes out every month from the region that gives us all of the stats for the entire office. It looks like this. So, and you have access to this, the multi-year trend report. It should be in your MyKW, or you can just ask your MCA for one of these. It'll spit you off the numbers. And I'm pretty sure Omar does a good job in Long Beach of doing social posts on those numbers every single month. It's called the lore report, the language of real estate. And you have a lore report as well. You could use the same report in your value proposition as well. Like, we help this many customers, or we close this, or we have this much market share in Long Beach. If you're not familiar with what those lore reports are, I'd probably get with your agent services, or maybe even Nick might know, or obviously your team leader knows, and could provide you with some of those numbers so that you could use in these presentations. Maybe if you're advertising just in Long Beach, then obviously how many sales you guys do in Long Beach, or what the percentage of closings you have in Long Beach. And that would really set you apart from some other people, because some people don't advertise those things, and I probably would. That's a good question, though. I definitely want to get those numbers. And if anyone on here is part of my office, I'll get you those numbers as well for us. Or you could use the total numbers for Forward Living as well, which we have like 15 offices. So that's actually a really big number. I use that all the time. Okay. Any questions on your value proposition? I think we did a whole Ignite class on value propositions. All right, now we're going to go to conducting the buyer's consultation. So prior to meeting with the buyer, you should have printed out a color copy of your customized buyer's presentation that we just kind of went through, and have a system of taking notes or answering some of those buyers' questions during the presentation. Now we'd probably move on to doing some scripts for welcoming the buyer, and kind of take a look at what that looks like. Okay, so usually we would break out into sessions at this point. And what I'd like to do is maybe go over some of the scripts now. We have a little bit of time, and kind of break through and do some scripts live here on some of the buyer's consultations. So let me find it real quick, if you guys don't have it in front of you, and we will go through it, if that's cool with you. Wrong one. I think we're about here. All right, so we can all see the screen here?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So if you don't have this in front of you, or you haven't printed this out, this is the welcome to the buyer's presentation. So these are some scripts that we want to get used to, saying the same thing over and over again, so that your customers are not only get the same customer experience. When you memorize and understand the process of your buyer's presentation, it's going to be so much easier to do many of these a day, or even a week, because you do the same thing over and over again. You don't have to second guess yourself. So this one's really great. thank you for letting me help you. My goal is to give you a 10 plus customer experience. To do that, I'd like to get a clear idea of what you're looking for in your new home. So with your permission, I'd like to spend the next 20, 30 minutes explaining what the right home what the right home for you would be like. We'll call this your 10 plus home. And with your permission, I'd like to take some notes. So along the way, I remember everything that's important to you. Would that be okay? Boom. They're going to say yes. It might seem like a lot, but I'd rather ask you 500 questions now so you find the 5 right homes, or ask you 5 questions and really waste your time looking at 500 homes. What would you rather do? It's like, oh yeah, I'd rather see 5 homes. Okay, great. Right. So that's kind of our introduction to starting our questions during our consultation. So can I get a volunteer, someone who wants to role play this real quick? It's 1 paragraph.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay. So, my name is Rob. So you could start off with Rob.
Okay. Rob, thank you for letting me help you. My goal is to give you a 10 plus customer experience. To do that, I like to get a clear idea of what you are looking for now in your new home. So with your permission, I like to spend the next 20 to 30 minutes of exploring what the right home for you would be like. We'll call this your 10 plus home. With your permission, I like to write notes as we go along so I remember everything that's important to you. It may seem like a lot, but I'd rather ask you 500 questions now and show you the right 5 homes than ask you 5 questions and waste your time showing you the wrong 500 homes. Does this work for you?
That actually does. That works great. Okay. So I like the way you read that. It was very it wasn't very fast. It made me feel comfortable, and really made me tone into exactly what you were saying. So you'll see that I talk really fast a lot of times, and sometimes that doesn't work in my favor. So I appreciate the way you read that. It made a lot of sense. And then you're setting the stage to take 20 and 30 minutes to really get to know them. And then you explained why. And you asked for their permission and they said yes. It's like, you know what? I don't have 20, 30 minutes. Can we do this in 5 minutes? Probably not. It's okay to say no. But awesome. That was great. Anybody else want to role play that real quick? Super simple. 1 paragraph. Crystal, what do you think? Bianca?
Yes, what would you like for me to read?
Oh yeah, you want to go ahead and try this this paragraph here?
Yeah, absolutely. The same one?
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So Rob, thank you for letting me help you. My goal is to give you a 10 plus customer experience. To do that, I'd like to get a clear idea on what you're looking for in your new home. So with your permission, I'd like to spend the next 20 to 30 minutes exploring what the right home for you would look like. We'll call this your 10 plus home. With your permission, I like to write notes as we go, so I remember everything that's important to you. It may seem like a lot, but I'd rather ask you 500 questions now and show you the right 5 homes than ask you 5 questions and waste your time showing you the wrong 500 homes. Does that work for you?
Oh, no, that works great for me. I appreciate that. Let's get started. That's perfect. Yeah, good job. So you can see if you could kind of create your own entry just like this. But my suggestion would be to memorize this one here and then use something almost similar to this to go ahead and set the stage and set the expectations of the buyer's consultation taking a little while. I'd rather get it all done right now than to not know what their expectations are later and then waste my time showing some properties. So as we go through the scripts here, the next part of the consultation is obviously asking them the pre-qualifying questions, which I don't think they have here in this particular script book. Do you guys have a copy of that as well?
Where did you get the script from?
The script book I got from KW Connect.
Okay.
So I went to KW Connect, resources, KW University, click on Ignite 2.0, and then go to materials, and then click on toolkit, and you'll get all the tools for Ignite in one spot. I'd probably save that on your desktop. And then from there, you can go back and grab bits and pieces of it. There's quite a bit of stuff in there. So these scripts are really great. And I'd suggest doing buyer's consultations for scripts and roleplay in your office. So, or actually in your home. Well, I wouldn't do it in your home. Typically, I wouldn't do a buyer's consultation unless it was in an office. Like, you're not doing buyer's consultations in people's homes. You're not doing them at Starbucks. You're doing it in the office. And the reason why we like people to come to the office is if they come to the office, they're driven to buy a home because they have to go out of their way to go there. They have to get out of their house. They got to drive to a place they've never been to before. They got to sit down with somebody. It's just like anything else. You know, if you're planning on doing something serious, you would go there and sit down with somebody and talk with them about it. You know, if you're planning on suing somebody in court, do you just show up at court with your attorney, or do you sit down with the attorney ahead of time, come up with a game plan, and then go? It's the exact same thing. You are a professional. We're going to sit down in a professional atmosphere, and we're going to go through a professional presentation and a professional consultation to get them to sign a buyer broker agreement document for me to start working for them as a professional. So you teach people how to treat you. It's a bold law that I love. And if you allow them to run you instead of you running the transaction, then that's 100% on you. I highly wouldn't suggest it, but you know, you're an independent contractor, do what you do. So then we're going to come to closing for the agreement. So once we find out all what their needs are, we go through what our value proposition is. The next step is for us to agree to do business together, right? Just like a listing presentation. I'm going to check out what your needs are. I'm going to show you what value that I bring. Our next step is to agree to work together. We're going to take the listing today, or I'm walking out the door without one. Same thing with the buyer's broker agreement. If they're qualified and they're motivated and they're ready to go, the next step is to agree to work with me, and then I'm able to start showing you some properties and walking through the rest of the process. So has anyone had any trouble getting a buyer broker agreement signed by a buyer? No, everybody gets them signed?
Mine so far are all friends, so they have to. So I don't really know the experience yet with an actual stranger.
So have you worked with a handful of buyers already, and every single one of your buyers has signed a buyer broker agreement?
Yes, but they were also my friends, so they were more than happy to sign it with me. I just don't know what it would be like if it was to ask a stranger to do it.
So could you honestly say that 100% of all your clients sign a buyer broker agreement? The answer is it's either yes or yes. So right now, all of your customers that you've had so far have signed a buyer broker agreement. So I don't work with a customer unless they sign a buyer broker agreement. So I could honestly say 100% of all my buyers or all my customers sign a buyer broker agreement. Because if they don't, I don't work with them. It's super simple. They don't want to work with me exclusively, I don't work with them. So imagine some of you on this call are married, have significant others, right? So it's like, well, if you don't want to get married with me and be exclusive to me, then maybe we shouldn't be together. Like that happens. So like for us to move forward, we have to agree that it's only going to be exclusive. Otherwise, I don't want to waste my time, energy, and life with somebody if they're not going to be exclusive to me, right? So it's the same thing with the buyer broker agreement. It's okay to let them walk away if they're not willing to work with you. And at that point, no doesn't necessarily mean no. It might not be, maybe not right now. They might not have enough information, or maybe you need to tweak your value proposition in a way that shows them that they should be working with you. And there's some things that are that aren't as great if they don't work with you. So here's a couple scripts on asking for the business. For example, all I ask in exchange for my superior customer service promise is that you agree to work with me exclusively. Does that sound fair? They're going to say yes or no, right? So then I would say, okay, great. Let's go ahead and sign and shake on that, and let's get ready to roll. I'm excited for you. Usually works pretty good. So closing number 2 for the buyer rep agreement. Okay, what we're going to do now is sign the buyer rep agreement, which puts me to work for you. You'll give me the tool I need to represent you in a purchase. With this tool, I have the opportunity to negotiate for you and get you the best deal. And getting the best deal is important to you, isn't it? That's a tie down, isn't it? They're going to say, well, yeah, no, of course, getting the best deal. Okay, great, perfect. Well, let's do the right thing. Let's sign the buyer broker agreement, and let's put me to work for you. I'm excited. And then go ahead.
What if they're like, yeah, you know, I do an exclusive agency, but I still want the opportunity myself to sell?
To sell? This is for a buyer. The buyer
Well,
rep.
not to say. Oh, okay, never mind. Okay.
Yeah, so this is for the buyer rep agreement. We're getting the buyers to sign a buyer representative agreement that they're going to agree to exclusively work with us, and that we're going to find them the best home. So it's I think there's a script in here that was actually pretty good. It was talking about courting. You know, signing the buyer rep agreement is kind of like we're going steady. You know, but we're not actually married. You know, once you write that offer, you're actually married to that transaction through that offer. So if you feel at a point that my services aren't what you're looking for, and you think somebody else is going to give you better customer service, let's have a conversation, and that I'm more than welcome to tear up this agreement. And you can move on, because I don't want to waste your time, and I definitely don't want you to waste my time. Is that fair? And then usually they would say, yeah, okay, great. Let's go ahead and get this started. Sign the buyer agreement, put me to work for you. And I start showing you homes right away, you know, and doing the research for you. So, anybody want to try one of these scripts? So again, once you get the scripts down, it makes it super easy. You don't have to think of something to say. A lot of times people fumble on some of the objections, and these make it pretty simple. You know, can I squeeze out a volunteer real quick? Maybe do one of either asking for the business or closing the buyer rep agreement one. Some good practice. What do you think, Jennifer? Can I call you out, Jennifer? Are you okay
Yeah.
with? Awesome. You want to do a, you know, ask for the business?
Sure.
Let's hear it.
Hold on a second.
No worries.
Okay. All I ask in exchange for my superior customer service promise is that you agree to work with me exclusively. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, it sounds pretty fair.
Okay. Can we sign and shake on that?
Yeah, no, of course. And then, you know, here, sign here, sign and shake. Good to go. Now get to work for me. So as you learn these 1 or 2 sentences, you're going to see how powerful those are, especially when you're asking a tie down. Have you guys practiced tie downs in Ignite yet? So a tie down is asking them a question where you know the answer is going to be yes, and you get them saying yes over and over again. For example, like right here, and getting the best deal is important to you, isn't it? So isn't it is the tie down. Perfect. And let's do the right thing. Let's sign the buyer rep agreement and put me to work for you. I'm ready to get started. You know, boom, bring some energy, high five them. Let's go. I'll be in contact with you tomorrow. We're going to set up a showing for 5 houses to see tomorrow. I know it's quick, but we're ready to rock and roll, right? Their motivation is going to be high. So once you get their commitment, sometimes we get a commitment before the pre-approval and sometimes we get a commitment after the pre-approval. Has anybody got a commitment to work with you before they even got approved?
Yes. And then I quickly told them to go get approved because we can't look at anything or submit any offers without that letter.
Exactly. So now that we know exactly what you're looking for, you know what I'm all about. We've agreed that we make a great partnership and I'm going to help you find that great home. Our next step in the process is getting pre-approved. Now there's a big difference between getting pre-qualified and pre-approved, right? So I've had people send me a pre-qualification letter to look at houses. This particular one was in Huntington Beach. It's a couple years ago. Hey, I got a pre-qual letter from my lender. Look at houses in Huntington Beach. You know, $980,000 is my max. You know, send me some properties. Awesome. That sounds great. Let me go ahead and give the lender a call. I give the lender a call and said, hey, did you get all the documentations for this buyer? The answer is like, well, I had a conversation with over the phone and based on what he said, here's what he qualifies for. That's not that great. I call the buyer back. I have a conversation with him. This guy hasn't filed his taxes in 5 or 6 years. If you haven't filed taxes in 5 or 6 years, how do we know how much money you make? Well, you don't. So there was no way I was showing him a property. He wanted to look at properties this weekend. Not happening. Not happening. So that pre-qualification letter was, you know, basically a piece of toilet paper. So the pre-approval letter, and a lot of times right now, people are getting their files underwritten as well, where they're just waiting for a property address to be determined. They've already went through the process of verifying their income, getting their 4506T tax returns back. So they've done a lot of the legwork, and they could probably shorten that escrow time to make an offer a little bit more appealing by getting a DU approval as well. So does anybody work with a lender that does all that for them as well? I know a lot of you guys are from Long Beach. You guys have, who's in Long Beach? CLS? I think they're called CLS, right? The lending company. I forgot their names, but they're pretty awesome. So they probably do the same thing. So right here, you want to, here's some scripts on explaining the benefits of a pre-approval. There's a lot of times maybe not a lot of times, but you know, you get buyers out there that are really aggressive, that want to see some properties. They're super excited about finally mentally deciding to purchase before actually having a pre-approval. They usually want to see homes that they can't afford. You'll come across that a lot. Like, hey, look, there's 5 houses in my neighborhood. I want to check them out. And, you know, they don't qualify to actually see those. So you don't want to waste your time doing that. And then we have a couple of objections in here as well. So going through the scripts and role play is going to be extremely important for your success, especially working with buyers. Some people are having some very bad success with buyers, and some are having very great success with buyers. And setting that up during your consultation is going to be a huge factor in that, whether it be successful or not successful. So here's a couple objections. You know, I don't have time to come to the office. You know, let me talk to my spouse. You know, I already seen a house at line. Why? I just need to see it so I could buy it. I think there was one that said something about, you know, meeting me at the property. Oh, right here. I don't have time to go to the office. Can you just meet me at the house? Now, sometimes meeting them at the house, since you've never met them before, gives you an opportunity to build a relationship them real quick, to then send them directly to the appointment to go through the consultation. So I can't say I've never met a buyer at a house first that I met online or something that I don't have a relationship with. I might, if my time is valuable at the time, meet them for one property to meet them personally, and then from there set an appointment to come to the office to go through the needs analysis, and then make sure that they're qualified to actually go in and look at more properties. So probably wouldn't suggest that right now, since during COVID, I probably wouldn't show a property that I don't know these people, because I don't know who they are. And obviously we got to have PED forms and stuff before we enter a property anyway. So to comply with the state law, And with the brokerage, I would definitely meet with them first. But in the past, or maybe after COVID, you might meet them at a property or an open house or something prior to getting that contract signed, or prior to doing a consultation. Does that make sense? Awesome. And is there any objections that you're getting out there that you might want to discuss right now when it comes to the buyer's consultation or buyer broker agreement that you want to throw out there that we could tackle? No?
I
Oh.
do have one.
Oh, good.
I have one where, she can't come out because she is afraid she's got an autoimmune disease. So she is afraid to really go from place to place. So she would prefer that I come to her.
That is a great objection. And that is something that I would meet with them at their house. So that's definitely warranted. Yeah. So, or maybe do a virtual appointment. The virtual appointment is not as challenging as some people might think. It's pretty much just having your documentation prepared and then obviously sharing a screen like I'm sharing a screen now. You could physically see me. During an appointment, you got to definitely make sure that you have your cameras on. So I know some of you guys are camera shy, which I can kind of see on the screen here. But I would highly suggest as a professional moving forward that you actually have your cameras on. It's the professional thing to do. So I think maybe starting off this class, maybe Nick didn't set those ground rules, so I just kind of flow with it. But typically, without your camera on, we usually don't allow you in the class. Would be my suggestion if I'm teaching my own class moving forward. But obviously, Ignite isn't my class, so setting the appointment with them, having your cameras on, and then walking them through this, and just being prepared to have it, and being able to know how to navigate through the consultation via Zoom or Google Meets or something, works very well, especially if you're working with possibly investors out of state. They're not going to meet with you anyway. You could actually do this, send them the buyer's broker agreement, have them sign it, and actually write some offers for them if they're buying some properties out here. We've done virtual listing presentations as well, kind of the same way. Instead of meeting them at their house, it might be an investment property. We could actually do it all over the internet, get it signed. So it is another skill that you want to practice. And during scripts and role play, I would highly suggest picking a partner and doing it via Zoom. So whether it be someone in your office, maybe a spouse or a friend, and you want to really build your craft, log on to Zoom, get an account, it's free, or go to Google Meets and put your presentation together and do a consultation via Zoom and really sharpen your skills that way. It is a very, very good suggestion to do it via Zoom and really get your skill set down. So especially if you're working on more than one computer. I got like 3 computers in one room right here. I'm jumping back and forth from each one. So it's probably not as smooth. I do apologize for that. I'm used to using just one computer, but my computer doesn't have I got a new computer without a camera. So it's a little odd. But yeah, for sure. I would definitely practice that via Zoom. And that's a very, very great suggestion, meeting them at their house with an autoimmune disease. I wouldn't let them be susceptible to getting something. So if you force them to come to the office, I probably wouldn't work with you. Just due to the fact that you don't care about me. So awesome. Any other objections that you're getting out there, or something that you might think you have an objection to that you haven't come across yet that you might want to chat about real quick to kind of overcome? No? Awesome. Okay, well, let's you do have the script book, so I definitely would continue practicing with that. It's a lot of scripts for all the Ignite courses. So I would definitely suggest grabbing that. And let me go back to our presentation real quick. We got a couple more slides, then we kind of open up chat a little bit, if you guys don't mind. Play from current slide. So sharing your mobile app. Has a lot of you shared your mobile app with a lot of buyers or a lot of people in general? So what's really great about your mobile app is it's a lead generation tool. So you have your mobile app and you add yourself as the agent at the bottom, right? So you go to you in the bottom right-hand corner there, and you make sure you're the name on the app. And then when you share the app, your name's going to be on there when you share it to somebody else. So if they start liking properties, it's going to pop up in your command that they're actually liking properties. So you might not even know who they are. You might have met at an open house. You might run a Facebook lead ad, says, hey, check out this property, and it's a link to your app, and they got to download your app to get it. The Keller Williams app is all the same. There's no your app or my app. It's the Keller Williams app. It's just got your name attached to it, which links to your command, which every time somebody sees a property pops up in your command. It's like somebody's raising their hand like, hey, I'm looking at properties. I don't even know who you are. I have your contact information because you downloaded my app, and it actually created a contacting command for you. And I'm able to reach out to them and see what their needs are. I noticed you've been looking at houses in, a certain section of Long Beach or Lakewood or something. There's a couple houses that might not even be on the market that I could probably get you into. Are you interested in meeting to go over through a buyer's consultation? And usually they'll say yes. And then you can kind of lock them down from there. So app, really great tool that I would suggest everyone start messing with and start using. And then your buyer. So obviously right here on the screen, you could see this is a version of, this is command, and you can see you have the contact open, and you see on the right-hand side, they're starting to look at houses. So you can see right here that they're actually hearting these houses on the mobile app, and now they're popping up in your command. And your buyer, or the person, whether they be a buyer or not, is able to start adding collections. They can create a collection called Downtown Long Beach, and these are the 5 houses that they like, or North Long Beach, and they can start putting some houses in here, and you can kind of see what they're looking at. And if, say for example, it's a house that you know about, or a house that you visit, or maybe the agent, I'd call that agent, or I'd see if that house is available, and then I'd probably start setting up some appointments to show those houses, or set up a consultation. Hey, I understand you've been looking at some houses. Let's go ahead and connect, see what your really needs are, so I can get you into one of these houses in downtown Long Beach, since you seem to really love it. Oh my gosh, I love it. It's awesome. So I would do that as well. So using the technology to your advantage is a really great tool. If you again, if you don't know how to use it, it's fine. We would definitely want to help you understand how to use it better by taking a few more courses and then doing some hands-on training with some workshops in the Market Center. So we talked about aligning your customer guide. That's going into command and readjusting what your guide would look like. So when your customers are going through this app, they can see what you're all about. You can put your value proposition here. You put the different steps of buying or selling a home. You definitely want to customize that to yourself. So we're going to give you a really great template. Your job is to go in there and actually make it you. Like, we don't want you to advertise us. We want to advertise you. You're the reason customers buy and sell real estate because you're unique and you have a lot to offer them. And we want to make sure we promote that. So before we move on, any ahas right now? Anything that sticks out to you? I know there's quite a bit of information. Well, let's just start with any ahas. Any ahas out there? No, there will be. You'll have some ahas. There's a lot of information here. Your next step, or your goal next, is to actually build your buyer's presentation and your consultation. So I would definitely start working on that immediately. Usually Ignite class goes all day. It's like a 5-hour, 8-hour class for the day. A lot of this homework is set aside for you to do independently. And the only problem with that is that a lot of times people don't do that. They say class is over at 12. I'm going to get some lunch and I'm going to move on to making some cold calls or something. Set some time in your schedule to actually work on your business so that you can work in your business a little more efficiently. So I know for myself, we spend quite a bit of hours per week working on our business, building systems, models, tools, critiquing a lot of things for advertising and marketing for our customers to give them the best customer experience. We actually spend quite a bit of time on that so that the customers that we do acquire, 99% of our business, or maybe 95%, comes from referrals. And to get that high amount of referral rate, for me, we have to touch them in a way that's very unique and over the top, to get the referrals from them. So we spend quite a bit of our time refining what that looks like. So for example, like this weekend, our customers just opened escrow on a seller. So now I'm going to go to a meat market. I know a lot about them. They don't drink, they like to chill at home and barbecue. So we're going to go get them some tomahawk steaks and do a Popeye this weekend. Just swing on by their house. Congratulations for opening escrow. Hey, I want you guys to celebrate this weekend by cooking some really amazing steaks. I bought you some, right? Sounds strange. Like, who does those kind of things? Well, guess what? I'll probably get 3 referrals out of that person while they're cooking their steaks, eating it. And then I'm gonna follow up with them like, hey, how'd those steaks taste? How'd you cook them? Right. So we have a system in place of doing things like that really drive the referral base. But to do that, you have to work on your business and really understand, like, what exactly do you want your customer service to look like? And that's what I want it to look like. So we spend quite a bit of time refining little things to make it a great customer experience for them. So ahas to achievement. The goal, obviously the goal every time we meet is to help you think, feel, and act. And what you've learned in your ignite your passion for your help achieving your big why and helping your customers. Maybe you could write down an aha for yourself for each category. Like, what have you taken away from the time we've had together, changing the way you think about things? Maybe aha of changing the way you possibly feel differently about your business, your customers, the buyer's presentation. And then definitely write down what actions you're going to take from today moving forward and put a time frame behind those actions. Like, I'm going to go to command, I'm going to build out my buyer's presentation by the end of next week or before Monday. At least get in there and build that template, and then you can go back in and continue customizing it time and time again until you make it perfect the way you want it. But I'd rather have something than have perfect. That way you have something to present and a process to present to your buyers immediately. And this is why we have templates for you. So you could literally just slap your name on it and present it as is until you start doing a few and then say, you know what, I really want my customer service to do this. Or, I've talked with Susan Wyatt, she does it like this and she's amazing. I want to go and change some of my stuff to match a little bit of hers. And then you would go ahead and just do that as well. So what are your overall thoughts about the buyer's consultation? Fairly simple, very complicated, something that's challenging for you that we want to spend a little more time on? Okay, nothing yet. Well, let's talk real quick about accountability. How has everybody been on their 10-4s? Ten contacts added, 10 conversations, 10 handwritten notes, previewing homes, probably online unless you have a buyer. How have you been in setting these goals and getting them done daily? It's a safe space. You can be honest here. I've taken Ignite myself. So this was probably my biggest challenge, was making the 10 contacts a day or 10 contacts added to my database. It's pretty tough, I think. To do it consistently, I think was a little challenging. Having 10 conversations a day, probably not so challenging. The conversations don't have to lead to appointments. They just have to have a conversation. And you'll see the more conversations you have daily, the more opportunity you have to get yourself into an appointment. And then being consistent with handwritten notes is part of your lead generation time. So I would definitely write some handwritten notes or your lead follow-up time. And then previewing homes. If you're not previewing homes, you have no idea what's out there. I would definitely preview homes at least weekly if you're not doing it daily, seeing what's out there in the marketplace. So when somebody asks you a question about a specific neighborhood or home, more about homes. and then studying homes as well. So I think we talked about this the last time I was on Ignite here. Understanding what happens in a home, the core functions of a home, the top 5 most expensive things in a home. When you're showing properties, one of my value propositions to showing properties, I know a lot about homes, a lot. I know about the air conditioning systems. I know about electric. I know plumbing. I know about foundations. I know about roofs. I know about the mechanical. I know about air conditioning. I know a lot of things about home, drywall, the plaster, the year it was built, insulation, recessed lighting. I mean, I know a lot of things about homes. So when you work with me, I'm able to walk you through a lot of things about homes and home maintenance that you might not get with other agents. Because just quite frankly, they might be able to help you write and negotiate a contract on a home, but I know homes. I could build a home from the ground up. That makes me very unique. And I use that in my value proposition to work with buyers. So, and to work with sellers as well, because there's certain things that buyers and buyers agents don't know that I can negotiate in and out of when it comes to requests for repairs. You know, they might not know this is important. Let's go ahead and push that to the side and focus on something else. So I'm very good at that because I've been spending years studying that house construction, studying those inspection reports. So previewing homes is a great way to do that. You're going to walk through some homes, you're going to point at something like, what the hell is that? I don't know. Take a picture of it and then come back and find out. So if you don't know what something is, something's weird. There's weird things in homes. Take a picture of it, bring it back, and let's, in a mastermind class or just go to your productivity coach or somebody else, say, hey, what is this? And that's a great question. That thing's really weird. This is what it is, and this is why they have it. So a lot of people don't know what a water regulator is. Like regulating the water pressure as it comes into the house is extremely important. You don't want too high of water pressure breaking all the pipes, as they go through all these 90s and bends. High water pressure creates water damage sooner or later. So knowing those things is a great value proposition for me. So, and the way I got that was previewing a lot of homes, taking a lot of pictures, reading a lot of home inspection reports, and really understanding homes.
A real quick question for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you can go more in detail, just because I would like to leverage my general contractor's license. It sounds like that's basically what you're doing. I also have a degree in construction engineering. I've built probably 20 homes on the west side of LA. I'm working for, one of the largest developers in the nation. And, they're 2-story structures and approximately 3,000 square feet each. And so, yeah, and in short, that's definitely, that's where I'm coming from. That's an industry I'm coming from. I have rentals of my own. And anyways, I'm kind of just flipping on my own. And so, but if I do get a client or if I'm selling one of my flips, just using that to my advantage, like you are, I guess I'm just looking for you. I don't know, just more details or just how to market that, or, you know what I mean? Just trying to pick your head as much as possible before
Gotcha. So,
your class is over. Yep.
Yeah, no, I get that. So what's really great about that is, like, say, for example, I'm a buyer and I'm looking to buy a house and I want a house that's move-in ready. So I'm going to go into a house and you're going to show me a house that sucks, right? It's like, oh man, those cabinets are from, 1958. And then there's another house that we've seen was cabinets from 1990. Well, guess what? Both cabinets need to be replaced. Like the 1990 cabinets suck because they're ugly and outdated. The 1956 ones, those suck too, and they're really outdated. The difference between the two houses is nothing. There is no better value in the 1990 cabinets than 1958 cabinets. What you're going to do as a contractor and or just knowing construction is that, hey, I can get a crew to come in here and replace these cabinets for $3,500. For $4,000, I could probably put in a brand new kitchen. When most people in their minds is thinking, well, that kitchen's going to cost me 40 grand because they don't know who to hire to get those, right? But you do. So when you work with me, I actually have crews that can come and I can rehab that entire house for 30 grand. Right? They don't have that option, but when they work with you, they do, because you have the connections to help them get there. So I can show you a house that's all beat up and for 30 grand. So instead of spending 80 grand more on this house, let's get this beat up house. And I could probably have my crew come in here for 2 weeks, probably flip this house and get you a brand new one for a lot less money. That's a benefit you get with me that you don't get with other agents.
Cool.
Also,
yeah.
and then knowing houses too. Like when you go through a house, like you could probably pinpoint, the home inspector is going to point things out. They're not going to tell them more about it. So it's like, hey, look, you know, you got some cracks in the drywall here. I would suggest hiring a contractor to kind of find out why there's cracks in this drywall. You're going to come in as a contractor. I wouldn't probably use your contracting license along with your real estate license because it kind of puts you at a conflict of interest. But knowing those things, I'd be like, hey, look, this is the cause of why most of these things happen. I could have someone come in here and write you up a report and then provide them with a report from maybe another contractor or a foundation guy or something like that. So that way it doesn't fall back on you as the contractor. It falls back on somebody else giving a report. But you knowing those things is a benefit to your buyers, for all your customers, for sellers and buyers, knowing how to build that house or how to prep that house to make it look its very best before that home inspector gets there. I've done that as well. Hey, let me go through the house with the seller. We go through a curb to curb checklist for interior and exterior. Here's all the things that you need to fix, because I know these things are going to come on a home inspection report because I've read hundreds of them, you know, and then we fix those things. Home inspector comes out, house looks brand new. House is from 1958, but the home inspection report's super clean. Everything that they have cookie cutter things that they put on there all the time. I get rid of all those things. So the inspection report becomes perfect. We spent a couple bucks prior to putting that house on the market, fixing a bunch of little things. So you have a huge value add compared to other people. And I would definitely exploit that.
Yeah. So, you know, I guess I'm trying to gauge, not mixing the two, like, and I'm a little confused because you had mentioned, you know, basically, hey, you can, in short, you can say, hey, I can get this kitchen done for you in addition to selling the house. However, you also mentioned, like, I wouldn't want to, I guess, use my general contractor's license alongside with the real estate license. And so I guess I'm not clear, and I guess need clarification on those, like, yeah, exactly with that. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense, but
You're a contractor, you have a kitchen guy, yeah?
well, I mean, yeah, I can find the most high-end guys that are insured. And, you know, I did luxury construction, and luxury construction is basically, yeah, they have insurance, they're bonded, they have all they're clean, but you're going to pay a premium. You're going to pay 30% more. So, you know, and on top of that, it's just the owner that has it. And typically it's still a guy that comes in and does the kitchen for the most part. That's, you know, not, I don't know, in short, not very credible, I guess, is the word I'll use. So, okay. So I guess, I think I know where you're going with this. Is basically you're saying, so if the inspection report comes back and it says you could, or not the inspection report, but if they want a kitchen, you say, hey, yeah, I've got a guy that can do a kitchen, and just put it all on him and have them in contact. And then, yeah, but where would I make my money there?
I don't. I make my money on the real estate side. I don't make my money on the construction side.
Gotcha. I see. I guess I'm trying to get greedy and make my money on both. I mean,
and you could sell them that house and say, as a general contractor, you know, after we buy this house, you could write them up bids for later. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You're licensed and bonded, and I mean, it's what you do. I just wouldn't, I wouldn't use it during the sale, like saying I'm a contractor, so, you know, this house is okay to buy. It's in great condition because I'm a contractor. Trust me. They're trusting you as your real estate license, not actually as your general contractor's license. So it's kind of a fine line there. I don't have a contracting license, but I know how to build homes. I've been doing this a long time. I flip homes, right? I have my guys that come in and do work. So, you know, I'll go ahead and have them come into my sellers' houses and, you know, have the flooring done in, you know, an afternoon, whole house, you know, tear the kitchen cabinets out, do stuff like that. But the seller is the one managing that. I'm not the contractor managing it. They're hiring my people to go ahead and do that, but they're not hiring me.
Gotcha. So, you know, you use it to your advantage and leverage it in such a way as more of a consultant, general contractor, consultant, construction manager, consultant, I guess, in a way. However, you know, where you're not taking a fee or trying to kind of, I guess, double dip in a sense, you know what I mean? And so I guess, is that, I guess, kind of more or less what you're doing?
That's what I do. Yeah.
Okay. See, I just had in my mind, oh, you know, why not try to, you know, get both deals and kind of, like a one-stop shop type of deal. And, you know, and then I can be more competitive by saying, hey, I can lower both fees in a sense, because you're dealing with one person. And if I get both deals, if I get real estate plus construction and I get both deals, then I can lower both fees to, you know, to my advantage, you know what I mean? And I wouldn't mind lowering both fees because I'm going to get 2 fees rather than 1 fee. And, but I guess I see where the conflict of interest is there. And, you know, I don't know, maybe my contacts can buy me dinner or something. You know what I mean? There we go.
You know, let's
You know what I mean?
off of this class, like let's get
Yeah.
together and chat about that and make sure that you know, whatever we do decide to do or whatever you decide to do, you know, I would check with Nick and make sure that we're compliant, that we're not, you know, maybe mixing your DRE license up with your construction license. But there's definitely a possibility of you doing both,
Yeah.
just in a specific way, just making sure they're completely separate. It's same thing with property management. We have a lot of realtors who want to do property management, but you can't do property management unless you're a broker, and you have to have 2 separate businesses. They're 2 different P&Ls. They're completely separate. They have nothing to do with each other. One's the real estate side, one's the property management side. You can do both. It's a slippery slope, but you got to make sure they're extremely separate and that the customer knows that they're separate as well. So I would definitely chat with Nick on that. He is our broker, but he is an intelligent man who could draw the fine line between the two and steer you in the direction that protects both licenses, if you will.
Okay, yeah, sounds good, you know, and I don't want to overstep boundaries or, you know, kind of mix the two in such a way that it's going to, you know, affect myself or, you know, Keller Williams. So, you know, I guess that's why I'm trying to get more detail as well. You know what I mean? And so,
Yeah, let's talk about it
you know
more
what I
often
mean?
as well.
Okay, cool. All right, thank you.
That's a great question. Great value add too.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so anything else? What else you guys want to add? Buyer's consultation, buyer's presentation, using the tech to your advantage. It's going to come down to a lot of it comes down to massive action. You know, are we making the contacts? Are we having conversations with people? So every day I got to make so many contacts as well. I got to actually have conversations with people as a team leader. My job is making conversations, and also my job is consulting the people that we already have here and helping them grow their business. So I have a track record of obviously a schedule of doing that as well. So want to make sure that all gets done. But if we don't have anything else to add, we got 3 more minutes left. I appreciate you guys all hopping on here and chatting with me. And the next class is going to be making and receiving offers. Extremely important class. If you're not taking a contracts class with Nick, I think it's Monday at 3. The purchase contract is the most important contract in the entire transaction. It is sets the ground rules for everything. You could lose a deal, lose a lot of money, really screw up your customer by not knowing how to write that offer and how to present the offer, and then obviously receiving those offers and reading them as well. So next class is extremely important. Please pay very strong attention to the purchase contract. It's I think it's the biggest opportunity for most realtors, understanding the purchase contract, how to write a really great one in today's market, and then how you receive them and what it means when you read it. There's a lot of verbiage in there. So if you're not familiar with reading all of these, line by line, read that bad boy, get a highlighter out, highlight a bunch of things that you might have questions to, and then get those questions answered so you direct your customers as the professional they're paying you to be in the right direction and consulting them. So that's that. Anything else for me? If not, I appreciate all of you. Thank you for joining us here at Ignite, and I look forward to seeing you at the next class. Have a great weekend, everybody. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.